position?
Listen to me.
So your position is that there's no evidence for God. How did you determine that all the facts that you're acquainted with do not necessitate referencing the necessity of God? Have you?
Would you mind terribly, for my sake, if we took a moment and got to know each other, because I don't know who you are, and I'm happy to answer your questions, but I don't know you from Adam.
Yeah, I'm a Bible believing Christian who regularly defends Christianity and debates against all unbelief.
Okay, now, do you have a YouTube channel or anything that you do? Because I'd love to have this conversation in a way that could. Okay, so you just do this as a. Okay, so if we say if X exists and we define X, then by definition certain things follow by definition. Now you may conclude that they wouldn't have been proven to your satisfaction, but it's an a priori claim. In other words, by definition, such as a bachelor is an unmarried male. Okay, so that is true by definition. Accurately representing, in spite of any objections she will make, is that justification is done by an ultimate appeal to an arbitrary starting point. Now, giving it philosophical nomenclature by saying it's an a priori truth is just a smokescreen of words of philosophy.
So you see, the atheists who try to maintain, they try to soft soap, their atheist, not strong atheism, but they'll say, well, I'm just an agnostic atheist. No, you're not. You're a full-blown atheist. Not you, but I'm just saying, atheist. Everyone's. If you're not a theist, then you're an atheist. Even agnostics are atheists. They just don't realize it.
Okay, so basically then you are not affirming that there is no God. You just merely have a lack of affirmation due to insufficiency of reasons.
I'll go with that.
Okay, how does that distinguish your position in any way from agnosticism?
I kind of see agnosticism as and atheism as essentially the same philosophy.
Well, why then is it that some of the major philosophical reference works distinguish between them?
Okay, let me explain to you why, okay? When Adam opened up his eyes in the biblical narrative, okay, he was made in the image of God, okay? There were certain baseline cognitive functioning that was providentially endowed, that God endowed Adam and Eve with, and were passed on through biological reproduction, okay? Now, if these basic mental states are a providential endowment, then by definition, they're not assumptions. Now, okay, listen carefully. Now, act like an adult in these rooms, but you see, I'm assuming that from within my worldview, that the God of the Bible has endowed you with certain basic cognitive and reasoning faculties. But you see, you don't. How do you falsify something?
One way might be that you could see that that thing doesn't correspond with reality. In other words, it's not truthful. Or something was not truthful.
Okay, so what you're saying, so what you are saying, and I agree with you, is you're making an appeal to the law of non-contradiction and excluded middle, right?
Because we've gone over this.
The laws of logic.
Okay,
so we agree that something cannot come from nothing. That doesn't answer the question. Can we agree that something cannot come from nothing?
I can agree with you because your worldview doesn't have a foundation.
Such losers, seriously. notes on people?
How am I a loser for wanting to know if I'm
you're sitting here and just take notes on people. It's kind of weird.
I don't take notes on anyone. I make. I don't have to answer it because I already know. Because I take notes on people. You weren't aware. Fine, don't answer me. You're gonna get a man.
Can't really be sure.
I'm referring to the historical Orthodox definition of the Trinity. Are you familiar with that?
I would be if you told me.
Yeah, that God is one God, consisting of three distinctions that are referred to as persons: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. They are co-equal, co-eternal. Okay. They take on different roles in creation. And the best example would be the incarnation of the second person of the Trinity in the person of Jesus Christ, that Jesus is fully God and fully man.
Then you can't listen to me one more time, okay? Are these particulars that you refer to, doesn't matter what you call them, are they ultimate and fundamental? Are they the source of all possibility?
Yes.
Okay, how do you know that?
Well, that's the best model that we have. It's not about
no.
It's
saying best is a judgment call.
Then you're conjecturing. That doesn't. You're just conjecturing.
Yeah,
then.
Yeah. It's ignorant conjecture. Okay. Okay. Best. Okay. Listen. Sometimes there are the best explanations, things that turn out to be wrong. The fact that it's best doesn't necessitate that it's true.
I'm not claiming to and I'm not saying that it's true. I'm just
no. You said okay. Good. Then if you're not saying it's true, then shut up.
I've given the reason why I think that.
No, I didn't ask you what you might surmise might be the case. I said, what is the prevailing provisional consensus about the nature of the independent cosmological constants? So you either accept, reject, or you don't know of that consensus. So is there a consensus on the state of narrow parameters of the cosmological constant?
No, I don't view it that way. I don't think
Sir, then tell me this. If proving and verification something to you is not me presenting a stipulation that conforms and coheres to your foundational beliefs, then what would my stipulation have to conform to if it is not your most foundational beliefs?
A consensus of agreement.
Dude, you really shouldn't be in this conversation.
Okay, but can I respond?
Did you understand the blunder that you just made?
No, if you would let me respond.
You didn't understand the blunder you just made, dude.
Sir, can I respond? No. Okay, look, you've been talking for 20 minutes. Why don't you take a break?
How did you determine that a consensus is correct, sir?
Communication with various individuals throughout the course of human history, starting with Adam and culminating with Jesus Christ and his apostles, and them recording down what they saw, what they heard. Now, okay. The Bible, as God's revelation, is self-attesting and self-evident for what it is. If you do not accept that, there
is nothing that is self-evident. Nothing. Are the laws of physics, chemistry, and that we would include as a set called the uniformity of nature, are they descriptive or prescriptive?
The laws are prescriptive.
How do you know that?
Those laws, they exist. They existed in the past. Can you see the
future? Isaiah, can you see the future?
I cannot see the future.
So how can you tell me then, if you can't see the future, that these laws will continue into the future?
All right, Dawkins. We can draw conclusions from the past to base assumptions for the future.
That's Isaiah. That's circular reasoning.
Right. Say something. So Isaiah, what you're saying here, this is you're saying the future will be like the past because it's always been. That circular reasoning, it's a logical fallacy.
It's called begging the question.
Yeah,
okay. There for just every day. So when the other is circular, well, the question is simply this: is your position that all forms of circularity? Because if you do, then you're going to have to explain to me on what grounds do you establish and hold to the laws of logic. They're going to have to on circular grounds. And if they don't, then the laws of logic are arbitrary.
So if God is unfalsifiable, okay, so as you get an a priori argument, there are ways of falsifying the Christian God.
That's a creature.
You see, you and I have been subject to much brainwashing in Western culture. Had we been raised from children biblically and correctly biblically, then we would know that talking about God possibly or not possibly existing is incoherent.
Not be assumptions.
God existing.
So if you state that those mental states where we hold to causality and the uniformity of nature are indeed only assumptions, that's a de facto declaration that the Christian worldview is false. Okay. Now, all I have to do to pull the rug out from under your position is ask you this simple question. Is it possible that the Christian God exists?
Okay. Let me read. I welcome disagreement. It makes for good conversation. If I say to you dog, if the word dog from one moment to moment changes its meaning or its ontological status, then the word dog loses its meaning. Do you understand?
Can I push back on this?
Do you understand what I just said?
I understand, but I don't agree.
Okay, no, you can't disagree. If I say to you dog, if the word dog from one moment to moment changes its meaning or its ontological status, then the word dog loses its meaning. Do you understand?
Can I push back on this?
Do you understand what I just said?
I understand, but I don't agree.
Okay, no, you can't disagree. It's
definition. They're just going to say that dictionaries include popular uses, not necessarily correct.
Well, that's not what we're saying. Words can and do change. The meaning of words is based upon between two or more parties who have at least a minimal consensus over the meaning of a word. Okay.
That comes out of Floyd's mouth can be justified. So why should we accept? Let me just finish. Give me 10 more seconds. Floyd is admitting that he cannot everything that he comes out of his mouth is founded upon the foundation of a properly basic belief, which he cannot demonstrate as the case. Therefore, nothing he says can be demonstrated to be the case.
Just have a question for you. I mean, don't you need to presuppose knowledge prior to presupposing God? Otherwise, what are you talking about?
We all have starting presuppositions or properly basic beliefs. Okay? Certain it looked like it be that in that particular circumstance, it was reliable.
Yeah, like you used your sensory experience to find that out.
Right. So when one appeals to sensory experience,
you must assume the basic reliability.
I mean, if you want to go that route, fine, but all I need for my worldview is to presuppose
right. But do you understand? This is the reality. This is not a controversial point that I'm making. It's well recognized.
Yeah, it's philosophy.
That we, one, from a philosophical point of view, one must assume the basic reliability of your sense perception.
You're assuming the reliability of your senses, aren't you?
I don't agree with that statement. My position is are God ordained, not assumptive. That's what I just said. They can't.
Yeah,
but
the same way.
However, if we have an ultimate in reality, which is God, he's ultimate, he's eternal, he's unconditionally.
There is
somebody's cutting you off, Darth. Can you repeat what you said?
There is, in the Christian worldview, the idea that God is somehow within reality. This is completely fallacious.
Precondition of all facts, including reason.
Reality.
What is that?
It's reality. What do you mean, what is it?
What is it that ultimately exists that provides for all dependent states, including the capacity to see, breathe, and reason? What is it that is ultimate in your worldview?
Reality.
I don't know what that is.
Listen. I'm not trying to be mean.
Right? So I don't get to think God's thoughts when I deny him, right?
No, we do think like God. Even the most rank atheist thinks like God at a foundational level. They can't avoid it. They're programmed that way. But at a higher level, you can't know anything. And the only reason why unbelievers can and do know some things is because of the grace of God, who is the ultimate knower and has constructed a world to make us know things, even if we deny it. But in the framework that unbelievers claim that they can know things, they can't know anything. It is, to be insane is to embrace contradictions, right? What do schizophrenics do? Schizophrenics constantly are offering propositions that are ultimately contradictory. And then when you point out the contradictions, it's water off a duck's back. When they